Ladies and gentlemen, friends and fellow seekers of truth, we are gathered here today to explore one of the most misunderstood and misinterpreted aspects of life: our work, our purpose, and the meaning behind the daily grind. Too often we hear people say, "I'm just looking for a job," or "I'm stuck in this work because I need the paycheck." But I'm here today to tell you something different, something revolutionary. What if I told you that the idea of looking for a job is the very thing holding you back from discovering your true purpose in life? What if I told you that God didn't design you to simply find a job and get lost in a life of mere survival? No, my friends, God has a bigger vision for you, a vision that transcends the mundane, that elevates you beyond the limitations of mere employment. Today, we are going to reframe the way we see work, ambition, and our personal journeys. This speech will shake the very foundation of how you view your daily labor and purpose. And after this, I promise you will never look at work the same way again. Let me start by painting a picture. The world tells you to go to school, get a degree, and land a job. We are taught to chase after titles, to climb ladders, and to measure our success by how high we can get within the structure of someone else's company or organization. We are taught to find a job as though our purpose and identity are wrapped up in a title and a paycheck. But here's the truth: this is not the life God has envisioned for you. Many of you have felt the weight of this mentality. You may have experienced the frustration of finding a job that simply doesn't bring you joy, doesn't make your heart sing. You may have found yourself stuck in a cycle of dissatisfaction, always searching for something more but never feeling fulfilled. I'm here to tell you, it's not about finding a job, it's about finding your calling. God didn't create you to be a cog in a machine. You are not meant to be lost in a dead sin position chasing a paycheck at the expense of your happiness. God's plan for your life is far greater than that. Now, hear me when I say this. You were not created just to work. You were created to serve. There's a big difference. When you look at the world around you, there are countless people who have achieved great success, but the ones who leave a lasting impact, who truly change the world, are not the ones who simply held a job. No, they are the ones who discovered their calling. A calling is different. A calling is something that stirs deep within you, something that lights a fire in your soul. A calling is not dependent on your job title or your paycheck. It is based on your passion, your gifts, and your willingness to serve others in a way that only you can. Think about it. Moses wasn't searching for a job when God called him to lead the Israelites out of Egypt. He was called to a higher purpose. Abraham wasn't seeking employment when God made a covenant with him and promised him descendants as numerous as the stars. The great leaders, thinkers, and creators of history were not pursuing jobs. They were following a divine calling that spoke to their hearts. But let's be real for a moment. This doesn't mean that the work you do today is meaningless. Far from it. It's about recognizing that your work can be an extension of your purpose. When you see your job through the lens of calling, you transform the way you approach it. When you go into your office, factory, studio, or whatever space you occupy, do you go in with a mindset of just punching the clock, or do you approach it with a heart full of purpose, knowing that you have something special to offer the world through your unique talents and abilities? It doesn't matter whether you're sweeping the floors, answering calls, or running a corporation. What matters is whether you are doing that work with purpose. Are you serving those around you in a way that uplifts them? Are you using your God-given gifts to make a difference even in the smallest of tasks? The shift from looking for a job to serving your purpose transforms everything. Suddenly, the work you do has meaning. You are no longer just a worker. You are a vessel for divine energy, creating something that matters, no matter how small it may seem. I know many of you are sitting here thinking, but what if I don't know what my calling is yet? What if I'm scared of leaving my job to pursue something bigger? I understand that fear. The unknown is always intimidating, but let me tell you something. God does not call you to be stagnant. God calls you to grow, to evolve, and to step into a greater version of yourself. If you have been feeling unsettled, dissatisfied, or unfulfilled in your work, that might just be a sign that God is preparing you for something greater. The discomfort you feel could be the stirring of a divine calling, pushing you to step out in faith and trust that there's more waiting for you. Don't let fear paralyze you. Fear will always be there, trying to keep you stuck in what's familiar. But trust in God's plan for your life. He's not going to leave you hanging. He's not going to call you out of your current situation without providing the way forward. When you trust in God and follow His guidance, you step into a place of peace and confidence. You might not see the entire path ahead, but you can trust that each step will lead you closer to fulfilling your purpose. Let's address another common misconception, the idea that pursuing your purpose will somehow leave you poor or without success. People often associate the word purpose with sacrifice, with the idea that you must give up comfort to truly live for something greater. But I'm here to tell you that your purpose is not a path of poverty. When you align your work with your calling, you tap into the flow of abundance that God has promised for you. Prosperity comes not just in the form of money, but in the form of fulfillment, joy, and peace that surpasses any material wealth. When you serve others through your work, you become a magnet for all the good that God has in store for you. Success doesn't have to be a struggle. It doesn't have to come at the cost of your happiness or peace of mind. When you step into your calling, everything aligns. Opportunities open up. The right people come into your life. The doors you've been knocking on for years will finally open wide, and you will walk through them with purpose and confidence. Here's the final truth I want to leave you with. Work is not just something we do to survive. Work is worship. Every task you take on, no matter how small, is an opportunity to serve God and honor Him. When you do your work with excellence, with love, and with integrity, you are worshiping the Creator. The work you do is a reflection of your heart, and it can be a beautiful offering to God. So, next time you wake up in the morning, don't think of it as another day of work. Think of it as another day to live out your purpose. See your work as an opportunity to serve, to grow, and to give glory to God in everything you do. I challenge you today, friends, to stop looking for a job to fill the emptiness in your life. Stop letting the world tell you that your worth is tied to your paycheck or your title. Look inside yourself and find your calling. Pursue it with passion, with purpose, and with a confidence that God is guiding you every step of the way. Let today be the day that you shift your mindset. Let it be the day that you stop getting lost in the maze of jobs and titles and start living the life of purpose that God has always intended for you. This is your time. This is your moment. The work you were made to do. And remember, when you find your calling, when you step into the life God has designed for you, you will never look at work the same way again. The concept of looking for a job has become so ingrained in our society that many of us consider it the only path to success and fulfillment. From a young age, we are taught to follow a conventional route: finish school, get a degree, and then secure a job. This model assumes that our value is tied to our employment status and that our happiness comes from securing a paycheck or holding a title. But what if I told you that this traditional approach is limiting? What if I told you that looking for a job is not the key to discovering your true purpose in life? When we focus solely on finding a job, we place ourselves in a mindset of limitation. We reduce our entire worth to a set of responsibilities and tasks dictated by someone else's vision. We become consumed by the idea of employment as the end goal rather than seeing work as a tool for expressing our unique gifts and serving a greater purpose. This mindset can leave us feeling stuck, unfulfilled, and disconnected from the deeper meaning that God has designed for us. The truth is, work isn't just about earning a paycheck. It's about fulfilling a calling. Your true purpose goes beyond the boundaries of a traditional job description. It's about discovering the gifts you've been given, the passions that ignite your soul, and the ways you can serve others in ways only you can. A job, as society defines it, may provide temporary financial security, but it cannot provide the deeper sense of meaning and fulfillment that comes from living